Shout out to all you cockbags that think it's a great idea to drive around with a fucking dog on your lap. Now, I'm sure you think you're doing them a favor by bringing them with you, but in reality, your attention is basically everywhere but where it needs to be because you're babysitting this fucking animal while you're behind the wheel. I find it interesting because all these people I see are constantly having to move their arm to keep their dog from sticking their nose out the window in the summer months or to keep them from being right there on top of their crotch while they're driving in the winter months. And when do I notice it the most? When I'm at red lights, when you're just sitting there, letting this fucking mongrel walk all back and forth the cab of your vehicle, and I can only think it has to be just like that while you're driving also. And it makes me laugh over all those pearl-clutching Karens that were shitting their pants over people talking on the phone while they were driving like it's completely impossible to do so while still being safe behind the wheel. The difference is that when I have that phone, it's glued to the side of my face and I'm still able to turn my head in both directions and see my mirrors and my blind spots, whereas you suddenly are sitting here trying to see what's going on in front of you or to the side, but you got a fucking Shih Tzu blocking your view. I talked on the phone for years and never had an accident, and furthermore, as at no point during any of those conversations while I was on the phone behind the wheel did I have to worry about my phone jumping out of the window suddenly, barking at random and causing me to turn my head and then accidentally overcorrect while I swerve into the oncoming lane, or pissing in the middle of the fucking seat and causing me to turn my head and then cause an accident. See, these are all problems for you stupid pet owners that seem to bring your fucking animals everywhere like you can't live your miserable, pathetic fucking lives without them by your side 24/7. I am able to talk on the phone and eat and drive with a knee and not get into an accident. And it's not because I've been lucky, it's because I'm skilled at it and I've had a lot of practice. You, on the other hand, have this independent variable with a heartbeat and the free will to decide what it's going to do, so it might hop up on the steering wheel and you can't see what the fuck you're doing. If one of these times you're driving and your dog fucking spooks you with its unpredictable behavior and you end up jumping a curb and running over a kid on a bike, I guarantee you there's no cop that's going to sit there and say, "Oh, don't blame yourself," when you're crying into your hands about a dead child underneath one of your tires, thinking about how you didn't want to leave Fido at home by himself because he gets lonely. Even when I'm driving with 4 kids in the car with me, they're all strapped in and I can shout at them and they're going to stay relatively in the same position they were in when I started the vehicle for moving. But your fucking little poochie pal there, on the other hand, is going to be moving left and right and looking at all the various things and possibly sticking its head out the fucking window. Just all these distracting fucking things that you got to keep your eye on, I imagine, unless you don't give a fuck if it jumps out and gets run over. But the average person who cares enough to bring a fucking fur baby with them when they're driving is probably going to be all eyes on that stupid mutt while they're behind the wheel. Keep the fucking dog at home if you can help it, and if you're going somewhere with it like the vet or the store, bring a small kennel so you can keep that fucker caged, because I don't need you to swerve across the center line and end up hitting me head on so I spend the rest of my life in a wheelchair blown into a straw to steer the motherfucker just because you don't want to take a trip to Costco all by your lonesome.